Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, fellow comrades. Welcome to another episode of Hearts of Iron 4. Now, after the utter disaster that was the We Are Red series, I don't know if this is going to go out in tandem with that, but I've watched the first episode.
I'm going to watch the first
and I've realized,
and then put it in a bit later, like middle halfway. I'm thinking.
Okay, that's fine. But after seeing the utter disaster that was Matthew in the very first episode, I've decided he needs a little bit of help and encouragement of how to actually physically play this game. So we have loaded up a new save, and this is going to be a new series of a name that I do not know yet. I'm thinking of a fantastic thumbnail though for the very first episode, but that is not the point. So in any case, Comrade Hex, Matthew, good lord, you're hopeless.
Yeah,
So,
I taught myself how to play the game because I didn't know how to play. I didn't watch any tutorials, so that's my excuse.
you have to teach yourself to play
well,
the
I
game.
taught myself badly.
Yes, you did.
I really did.
Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with what you did. It was just you didn't do anything right. But with some things, there was nothing wrong with what you did. Just you didn't do a lot of things the way that would have made you, considering you were playing Poland, would have made you a better Poland.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play we're gonna play this big old country known as the Soviet Union, who is massive and really, in my opinion, is actually a really easy country to play, provided you just do the right things. So shall we get started then? I can start off with the first thing that we need to do.
Yep, I've clicked it.
Okay.
We're playing
So the
co-op
first thing
if
we
this
need to
hasn't been. If we haven't said. I forgot if we said. We're playing co-op, so we're both playing the Soviet Union.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, you see all these troops on the Western Front. I want you to select them all of them, doesn't matter where they are, just everywhere, like down here in Turkey, just select them all, and select all the ones up there in Finland, all the ones here in by Estonia and Poland, that area. Select them all, put them into a single army of 104 divisions. Okay. Now I want you to do the same and make a separate army with Xinjiang. And actually, I'll do that one. And then I'm going to do the same with over there in Manchukuo as well. Now with Manchukuo, what I generally like to do is I just like to put. Now we're just going to do some basic things that we should all do at the very beginning of the game. So first of all, if you go over to Manchukuo, I've just selected the army and I've placed an army and I've placed them on a border with Manchukuo, and I'm going to get them if I can, a winter attrition general and a general that does handle supply really well. Infantry officer. So you see, so go over to, so I'm just going to select him here. So if you go look at the general I've just selected, by the way.
Yep.
His name is
Vasily Konetsov.
Vasily.
So he's got out of supply minus 50% or something. I don't know what that means.
Yes.
And the infantry,
which is really good for fighting. In the eastern half of Russia, where it's low infrastructure and you're fighting in like the most horrible part of the country. Again, against Japanese people, so it's really good for that. So out of supply minus 50%, meaning that that they negate the penalty by 50% to all if they don't have enough equipment. They couldn't find if they have. So let's say they're losing minus 10%. They're getting minus 10% to equipment. They will only fight with a minus 5% for not having enough equipment, which is really, really good. Now, it's also really good, considering fighting Siberia, to get one with a winter specialist. Now, if we click on that if you click on him, you go to select the commander, find him in the army, and you see there's this little plus symbol next to the. So go into the army thing, and he should be near the bottom considering he's been selected.
Okay, I was already looking on the plus thing, so you assign traits.
Okay. So just click that, right? And then we can assign him a trait. So he's got commando, which is minus 50%. Now we can give him another trait as well, So we can give him a skirmisher, which enables probing attack, paratroopers, which is not quite necessary, and camouflage, which gives him a reduction against CAS, which I can't remember what that is anymore, and an air superiority bonus if in combat of minus 50%.
Alright.
So a lot of things, these three things aren't the best, but I guess let's go for skirmisher because it gives him a fighting bonus. So I've just selected that for him
Well,
as
you
well.
can't. We haven't got any command power, so.
Oh, we don't have enough command power. Shit. New mistake. I apologize. So you want to look for little stuff like that, and over time he will develop other traits that you can give him bonuses for to, I think, a maximum. Now the people in Xinjiang, I don't know why they're there. I've never had a problem with Xinjiang. They are communist after all. I've never had a problem with them, so I don't know why they are there. I guess in case China, I get why, but it almost never happens. In case China loses to Japan, and then Xinjiang, I think, might become a fascist state, but I've never seen that happen before. So I don't know why they're there. And now, here comes to the most complicated part of the whole game. Now, because fighting against Finland is nearly impossible, considering they have Sisu, if that is how you pronounce it, go look at the national spirits that they have, and just read out Sisu to me, just because.
Division recovery rate 25%, division attrition minus 10%, division attack on core territory plus 20%, division defense on core territory plus 20%.
Now that is why AI Finland never loses to Russia.
Yeah.
To AI Russia. Now it is possible to beat them as a human. I have done it before. I just don't like to do it because of two things. Because of that bonus and the fact that it's like there's nothing. Like they don't really have. It's not really worthwhile if you go to resources, right? And you go look at like Finland. You can see they've only got like 12 steel and 2 chromium. It's not really worth. So if you go down to the
Is it trade?
bottom right, no, not trade. You can go into trade. That will work, but there's a better way of doing it. So if you go down to bottom right, you'll have like the default infantry map mode, and then you've got like strategic navy and strategic air. Just next to that, you've got supply areas, states. Yes, resource map mode. You click that, it shows you all the resources on the map.
So I've got,
without that horrible GUI.
I've got 12
Also
steel
down here, you can also toggle the
2
day-night
chromium.
cycle off, which I saw, which you had on during that series. You can toggle the day-night cycle off.
How do I do that?
So if you go down to like at the bottom right,
Oh,
there,
there
you
we
should
go.
look for like a sun and a moon. Just click that once. So
Okay.
you can see Russia. We have an absolute crap ton of resources that we can use, and it's quite important to look at this sometimes. So you can see the Rhineland there in Germany has 100 steel right there, just in that one single province. That's a lot of steel. So Germany is quite powerful. Now, there's one thing that the Soviet Union doesn't have is rubber. So we can go to there are a number of places where you could get rubber, but the best part is like Indonesia and the British Malaya and Siam. So keep that in mind.
Mhm.
That's just important for trade partners right there, because you can guarantee if you go trade with, say now, the Belgians, they have a little bit of rubber. They have 12 rubber. At some point, they're going to change their trade laws to limited, which is going to reduce the amount that you can have by a lot, and then you're wasting a factory there pretty much when you could get more just from British Malaya for the same amount of factories, even less.
Alright.
So it's always best to trade with these countries that have an absolute crap ton of a resource that you don't have. So I would always go for either British Malaya or the Dutch East Indies. If you go to the trade tab, right, shortcut is R. So you can just go there and you can see like you've got this oil, you've got aluminium, rubber, and you see the place that has the big, and it sorts it by the quantity that they have. The country with the most rubber, if you go to click on the rubber,
Is Dutch
the tire.
East Indies.
Yes. So keep that in mind. It's always best to trade with them. Sometimes it does get to a point where a country might have the most, like the United States has the most tungsten, but their conscription law, but you can still use so much of it that they can't supply you with enough. It's still possible to do that, regardless. So be careful of that kind of stuff. However, the game does provide in something. Now, we can't build that yet. If you go to the construction tab, if you go find a synthetic factory, so you know, you build like factories and stuff.
Yeah, we have to require. We need the.
Yeah, so if you go look at the synthetic factory now, I would say it's not because we're Russia and we can have so many consumer goods factories. Let's not do this. If you're a smaller country like South Africa, it might be beneficial to maybe build 1 or 2, but because you're South Africa, you only have 4 provinces, 4 states that you can build in, so you're quite limited. With Russia, it's not necessarily required. We can just build so many consumer goods factories. We can literally just get whatever we want for as little price as we need, and we only really need rubber. We won't necessarily be using anything else.
So shall I ask for trade with
yes,
Dutch East Indies?
Yes.
So what shall I do?
Now we have -6. So click on the Dutch East Indies, right?
Them. Well, I've clicked
And
them in
now
the trade
it will-
menu at least.
Yes, click that, and then this thing should come up, and it says, so the Dutch East Indies can support to us 275 units of rubber. We can only trade up to 120 units because of their trade law. We have 39 available convoys, which requires 6 for this trade.
Right.
Can you read that? So we can buy an amount of 8 rubber. We have -6, so we'll have a +2 after this trade for 1 civilian factory. So that's a good trade. That's exactly the amount that we need. So don't try and overproduce, by the way. Don't unless you can do it, but it's best not to do that. Just increase it as life goes on. But if you want, you can put 2 factories and you can get 16 rubber for that. But for now, let's just keep it as 1. So you can click send on that.
Okay.
And then it won't tick over immediately. We have to wait for the first day to pass, I think. So now we have that, and if we do get rubber, you can click that little now if you look in the same tab, you can see rubber has got this little glowing cardboard box with an X on it.
Yeah.
If you click that, cancel the trade. It'll cancel all trade from anyone that you're buying from in that particular trade.
Okay.
So that's fine.